As you know, Donald Trump lies, and he lied a lot while running for president. You might call it the art of the campaign deal.
One thing I can promise you this: I will always tell you the truth.
And now that he is no longer campaigning, he can admit to the lies, and he just walked back one of the biggest ones, and I have the breaking story for you next. While campaigning in 2015, Trump found great success by repeating 3 phrases: build that wall, lock her up, and drain the swamp. 3 phrases, all with one-syllable words covering 2 themes, one with racist overtones and the other were anti-establishment. Trump tapped into what became known as the base with these very simple messages meant to appeal to low-information, high-emotion voters. They were mostly lies, and they worked. Trump did not build the wall as promised, or make Mexico pay for it, or lock her up, or drain the swamp. Lying was his campaign brain hack, and it got him elected twice. If Donald Trump was a villain in a Marvel movie, lying would be his mutant superpower. Have a look at this piece about that superpower, and on the other side, I'll reveal the campaign whopper that he is now admitting there's no way he can deliver on.
I'm the only politician in history that I've actually kept more promises than I made. Think of that. I promise you will never hear Supreme Leader from me. He will never be called. He will never be called never.
Iran's Supreme Leader.
The country's Supreme Leader.
The Supreme Leader of Iran and the office of the Supreme Leader of Iran.
I promise you, I will not be taking very long vacations if I take them at all.
President Trump has spent nearly a third of his days in office visiting one of his own vacation properties.
But I'm not going to be playing much golf, believe me. If I win this, I'm not going to be playing much golf. I'm not going to be playing, believe me. I promise that under a Trump administration, the law will be applied fairly, equally, and without prejudice.
He tear-gassed peaceful protesters. He pardoned all his criminal buddies.
The Washington Post and other fact-checkers have found that Donald Trump tells more lies and falsehoods than any president in either party in history. The count is over 20,000.
What you just saw is now 4 years old, and my guess is they stopped counting the lies because half the population kept saying, of course he does, and the other half kept repeating fake news. Reporting each lie was like an exercise in futility. But this lie I'm reporting on today is worth repeating because Donald Trump himself is basically saying it's fake news. Have a look at this compilation and try to guess what the lie was, and then I'll have his admission that it was all BS.
We're going to win the election. We're going to turn the country around. We're going to get energy prices way down. That's going to bring other prices way down. More people tell me about grocery bills, where the price of bacon, the price of lettuce, the price of tomatoes, they tell me. And we're going to do a lot of things. We're going to get your prices down. Here, it's going to go down a little bit. It just went down $100. We'll do that for you from the White House, all right?
Thank you.
All right.
And now, with the lie well established, the bombshell reversal was revealed by Time Magazine's Person of the Year interview with him. And yes, I just threw up in my mouth a little by having to say Person of the Year, so please have a listen to this while I take a break to gargle.
He left office with low approval ratings. Trump's victory in November may be partly the product of short memories. For his part, Trump puts faith in his negotiating abilities. We can use the same words, he says. But maybe it's a look in your eye that works. Yet already, the president-elect is moving the goalposts on some of his pledges, like lowering the price of groceries. It's hard to bring things down once they're up, Trump says. You know, it's very hard. If his approach doesn't work and Trump feels boxed in, critics worry he will become ever more extreme.
It is worth repeating that he said, I'd like to bring them down. It's hard to bring things down once they're up. You know, it's very hard. I know from our channel history that this video will get tens of thousands of views, maybe even 6 figures. And in that mix will be a few Trumpers, and my next message is for you, so please lean in. You got played. When you were listening to Trump's false promises of lower grocery prices, you weren't considering the impact of deporting migrant workers who are crucial to the food supply or understanding the implications of his tariff threats. Those promises were never congruent, and because you weren't listening then, I hope you listen now as I give the final word to CNN as they educate your gullible soul about what Trump's lie will mean to your wallet.
We've been hearing that tariffs would be coming with a Trump administration.
I mean, it is not unexpected in a sense. It may be unexpected to Americans who thought Trump was going to lower their prices. Because if you voted for Trump because you thought he was going to bring grocery prices down, I have some very bad news for you. A lot of our produce comes from Mexico. 2/3 of the tomatoes that Americans purchase are from Mexico. 90% of the avocados that they purchase are from Mexico, just to mention 2 examples. So that guac is definitely going to cost extra. If you voted for Trump because you thought he was going to bring down the cost of housing, a lot of our lumber, cement, other materials comes from Canada, which means that construction costs are going to go up. Not to mention all of the ways he's going to roil the U.S. auto industry, because a lot of autos cross borders in North America multiple times before they're ultimately finished and sold to consumers. Not to mention the fact that a lot of U.S. manufacturers purchase inputs, intermediate goods like metals and cement and other things from Canada, from Mexico, and not to mention even the retaliation that we should expect. All of which is going to be very bad for consumers, not to mention, again, many of the U.S. workers that Trump allegedly wants to help.